I want to ask you one of the harder questions, but one I'm sure you're excited to answer, which is why do you think you should be the next Miss Eco?
I believe I should be the next Miss Eco International because I'm bringing the dedication, the drive, and the environmental passion for it. Because at the end of the day, it's a job to be done. It's a um, role to be had, and you'll be a public servant at the end of the day. You need to impact to your communities in a positive way. And I believe that is something that I'm already doing. It's not something that I'm aiming to do with the crown. It's something that I am already impacting in the Australian community. And so with the Miss Eco International crown, I can just amplify their message of love and respect for the earth and amplify the good work that I'm already doing and bring it to the international sphere and bring it to international countries, go beyond Australia, go beyond Philippines. And that is exactly what I think a great Miss Eco International needs to do. It's to have a fruitful and effective reign.
You're set exploring sport and art for well-being. This is your set.
Today's guest is someone using her platform to connect culture, purpose, and environmental action in a way that feels both grounded and global. Adriana Gravador is the reigning Miss Eco Australia, a sustainability advocate, an aviation professional whose journey spans the Philippines and Western Sydney, shaped by identity, community, and care for the world around her. From her work in aviation with Qantas to her hands-on involvement in the environmental initiatives like mangrove planting, bush regeneration, and coastal cleanups, Adriana's story is one of movement, awareness, and responsibility. She has also returned to pageantry with a renewed sense of purpose, using it as a platform for representation, storytelling, and impact, alongside experiences that have taken her from the international stages to Indigenous-led learning in East Arnhem Land. Today, we're talking about identity, purpose, sustainability, and what it means to use your voice across different worlds. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Kat. That was an amazing intro, and I love hearing about it from an outsider's perspective. It's beautiful. It makes me very proud of everything I've been able to achieve with this title, especially, and how much more I am excited to do on the Miss Eco International stage.
Amazing. So we'll just get straight into some questions now. So, why did you want to compete in Miss Eco Australia? And what was your background in pageantry before this?
Well, my background in pageantry started when I was 16 years old. So, being Filipino, you start very young. It's one of those kind of stepping stones. And I was urged by one of my aunties to join. And I'd always been interested in maybe more of the modeling side of the pageantry aspect. When you're 16 years old, I guess you're not really thinking too much about the charity aspect. But I did a lot of great work back then with also environmental cause. My environmentalism has just been really consistent throughout my pageantry journey, and it's always been the core of my advocacy work. And even though it's had different amalgamations, it's had different flowers on this tree of mine. Um, that's been the root of my advocacy work. And pageantry has always been my way to express myself and be a part of my community. I, as I said, started in Miss Philippines Australia when I was 16 years old, and I came out first runner up in my first ever pageant. I was just such a baby then, and I look back and I think, wow, she was like teeny tiny, so shy, and it's really been a blossoming, flowering journey for me. After that, I went to the Philippines at 19 years old after my HSC, and I competed in Bini Bining Cebu. So that is where I'm from in the Philippines, in Cebu City, and I'm very proud of my Bistak heritage as well. And so that's why I wanted to go back and compete. And it was an eye-opening experience for me. I only placed top 15, which is a great effort considering the Philippines is a very strong pageant country with really great girls that are fighting tooth and nail for it. It taught me a lot about how, stressful and how much effort you need to really put in to have a fruitful reign and have a fruitful journey. And those experiences, those learnings that I had from my time in the Philippines is what I really referred to a lot in this Miss Eco International journey and Miss Eco Australia journey. And after my top 15 finished, to be honest, to be completely honest, I was very heartbroken. It's my first big heartbreak because you move to the other side of the world, you pack up your bags, just like Bea Milan-Windorski, Miss Universe Philippines. Now she said she packed up her life into balikbayan boxes, and that's how it felt. And coming back, not having like one of the top placements, you really start to rethink everything that you know about yourself because it's all about core beliefs, right? It's all about what you think you're good at. And then when it's kind of challenged and when you see something that's the opposite, you have to take a step back and relearn yourself. And I think that that's still a great thing at the end of the day, a great experience because you are able to come at the same challenge, come at the same journey with a different perspective. And that's how I felt coming to Miss Eco Australia or Queens of Australia, which is the qualifying pageant, the overarching pageant. It was after a 5-year hiatus, came back as a 25-year-old. And I thought to myself, I'll do this properly this time around, and I'll do it with the proper heart and soul because as I said before, I didn't really come at pageantry thinking about it from a charity aspect, although it was always there. But in Miss Eco Australia and in Queens of Australia, I made sure to walk the walk, not just talk the talk. So I went out in my community and was volunteering. And my advocacy during Queens of Australia was textile recycling. And I had my own Adriana's Conscious Closet textile recycling drive, which I still, uh, you know, operate to this day. Still have a few friends that donate to me and I send it off to apparel. So it's still ongoing, although my current advocacy for Miss Eco International is sustainable aviation. But that's the through line for it all, and it's what's really propelled me in this current journey is the advocacy and the community aspect, and the glitz and the glam comes second.
What an amazing, yeah, introduction
Sorry, I'm a
into that.
bit of a rambler, actually. I just thought
No,
that was pretty long, wasn't it?
no, I loved it. That's perfect. I mean, this is all about you, and we want to learn about you as well. So that's incredible. And just, yeah, the cultural background and what you can bring to that difference as well. And in particular, your sustainability really drew me in as well because I love, textile sustainability as well. And aviation sustainability is really fascinating. So I'm excited to learn more about that when you hit the international stage. So, what does being Miss Eco Australia actually mean to you beyond the title? Because I know you talked about the advocacy side and it's more than just the glitz and glam, even though us girls all love the glitz and glam. What does it truly mean to you to be, yeah, an Australian representative?
Being an Australian representative is the whole purpose behind this all. I'm equally as proud of my Australian heritage as I am as my Filipino culture. And Australia has been the country that has welcomed me and my family with open arms and has really created this amazing life for us. And I honestly do not think I would have these same opportunities in both aviation and both advocacy and environmentalism as well as in pageantry had I not come to Australia with my family. And I came here when I was 2 years old. I was schooled here, even though I do get people that say, oh, you have a little bit of an American accent, but that's purely the Filipino side. That's the Filipino American accent that comes out. But I'm very, very proud of my Australian heritage and growing up, especially in Western Sydney, being from Blacktown in Western Sydney. Sometimes it has a sticky reputation, but that is also the beauty of it. I have people that tell me at work sometimes, and I let them know I'm from Blacktown, that, oh, that's a bit scary, that's a bit different. It still has that through line, but I am actually very proud of it because I love having complexities to me. Like no one can tell what you are just by looking at you. And that is what excites me about the whole journey, especially as being an Australian representative. Even though I'm Filipino looking and born from the Philippines, you can still be an Australian representative. And it's a great representation of what Australia truly is. We are an amalgamation of different cultures and different countries that have come here for an amazing life. And that's what I'm very excited to represent on the global stage, and specifically what being Miss Eco Australia means to me.
That's incredible. It's so true about the multiculturalism of Australia. I think it's, yeah, we need to step outside of that box that we have in our head that, yeah, all have to be, blonde hair and not from
Yeah,
different
yeah, yeah.
places.
No, yeah.
But yeah, incredible. That was kind of leading into the next question where I was going to say, how important is it to represent your culture in the spaces you're in now? So you identify as an Australian and Philippines. So how are you going to kind of, is it the certain dresses you're going to wear or how are you going to go
Mhm.
about like national
Oh, of
costume and
course.
things
Yeah,
like
how
that?
I'm going to really represent Australia on the international stage.
Mm.
One thing that I thought was very, very important to bring with me was Indigenous Australian culture, because I truly believe that that is where the crux of Australian culture is. Because on the outside of it, it's a lot of multiculturalism and a lot of blend of different cultures. But if we look at the root of it all, it comes from Indigenous Aboriginal Australians, and that is, although I am not Aboriginal at all, that is really what I wanted to bring to the international stage because it is what sets us apart from the rest of the world. And so I've done a lot of great work with my costuming, with my storytelling, and as well as with my sustainability and environmental work to platform Indigenous Australians and their work in sustainability, because I truly believe that there's no one better to guide our sustainability practices than those Aboriginal Australians that have cared for the land for thousands of years. And it was especially poignant to me when I visited East Arnhem Land, Nhulunbuy with Qantas Sustainability. We went on a sustainability trip to learn more about carbon offsetting initiatives with Alpha. Arnhem Land Fire Abatement, that's the name, Alpha. And it was just very eye-opening just to be amongst it, to be at the 2025 Fire Forum and learn about traditional savanna burning practices, the bush calendar, and how just important it is to all of them to be connected to country, close to country, and actively involved with its caretaking. It was really, really inspiring to me. And being Australian, if other people were to see me as a representative, they might not think that's not what a real Australian looks like. So if people were to feel that way, I wanted to be able to give them a little bit of what they wanted, a little bit of that Indigenous Australian culture. That's what they're after in an Australian representative, after all.
That's incredible. Yeah. Just well done on all the work you've done towards that. I think that's so inspiring and we can all definitely learn from, yeah, Indigenous cultures from around the world. So that's amazing. So, and on that point of sustainability as well, I know it's a big part of your work, but what sparked the initial passion for you to go into sustainability?
Okay, I believe there's two answers to this question. The first would be, the seed that sparked it all. And that would definitely be my parents, especially my father. He was always such a green thumb. He's a former farmhand as well in the Philippines. He came from more provincial side of the Philippines. And so he is the one that kind of embedded that environmental spirit within me. We have always had gardens. I've always, sowed the seeds in the gardens. Even right now, he's the architect behind the beautiful garden in the front yard that I do feature sometimes on social media and some shoots and everything. He's the one that has done it all. And so planting alongside him, watching him be in love with gardening and all things green is what really sparked that environmentalism. And what kept it pushing, especially a recent event of mine that kept it um, propelling forward, is during a recent trip to the Philippines with my family, we experienced our first ever magnitude 7 earthquake. And it was really one of the scariest experiences of my life. We were on the 21st floor of a high-rise hotel when it hit, which is quite
Oh
possibly
my
the worst place
gosh.
to be. And so it really shook us metaphorically and actually physically and literally. Um, but after that point in time, it really clicked within me that a different perspective to environmentalism bursts through essentially, that we are so vulnerable to Mother Earth and we need to give back to her because she can have our societies and our communities crumbling at any time, and that the best way to, kind of keep our safeguard life on earth is to ensure that we are caring for country and that we are treating Mother Earth and the planet as a living being, because that is what it is at the end of the day, treating it with love, care, respect as we would with any other human. So those are the two events that really sparked my environmentalism, and that's what I always refer to when I'm thinking in my head about what keeps me driving forward.
Wow, yeah, I'm so glad you're safe from that, and I
So
can't
thank you, thank
imagine
you.
that would have been so scary.
Yeah, because we don't have that here in Australia for sure.
No, it's
Yeah.
definitely when different threats happen, you're not even prepared for that to happen. So,
Yeah, yeah. It's only until you actually experience it, you see it in real life, in real time, and how it affects your family around you and the people around you. That's when you have to spring into action, essentially.
mm, for sure. And just on that point with the mangrove planting and the bush regeneration, what's another eye-opening experience, particularly for aviation sustainability? Because I personally don't know too much about that. If you'd maybe just talk on that topic for a little bit.
Yeah, of course. So I think sustainable aviation as an advocacy is very general and very wide, right? And so what I've decided to do with that advocacy is to kind of funnel it into different ways. And the most important thing that I wanted to do was carbon offsetting. So I went on a Qantas sustainability trip to East Arnhem Land, and on that trip, we were there to learn more about their carbon offsetting initiatives because it is a collaboration with my airline and Alpha Arnhem Land Fire Abatement. So essentially what happens is they are going to use traditional savanna burning practices to burn the land in a controlled way so that it reduces overall carbon emissions that are created by large-scale bushfires. And what that gives them is carbon credits, and carbon credits are then purchased by people like airlines or like brands like Qantas, and they are then used to offset the costs of some of the airline tickets. So when people are booking their airline tickets, they can take the carbon offset option, which is sometimes people you just overlook that. You think, oh, offset the carbon of my seat. Like, what does that even mean? And why do I have to pay $3 or whatever for it? But that is essentially what it does. It funnels its way to and supports um, initiatives like Alpha and helps them do their great work because that is their passion. That is what they want to do. They want to be close to country and support it in that way. And that is essentially the intersection of where sustainable aviation came about for me. And from there, I've just been going about carbon offsetting in different ways. So that's where mangrove plantings, bush regeneration, and tree plantings come in because it's all about rebuilding these natural environments that can then store carbon or reduce overall carbon emissions that are created by aviation. One of the main inspirations as well that I saw was the Cairns airport. So in Cairns, they are surrounded by mangroves, I believe almost like 200 hectares of mangroves around them, which is a blue carbon sink, and that can store almost um, oh, now I'm forgetting definitely the numbers, but I don't want to speak
Okay.
incorrectly. So I know that it stores more than trees. So that's why I wanted to really invest in mangrove planting, and I did that in the Philippines. The reason I did that was so that I could really bring my impact global. I wanted to show that I don't only want to benefit Australia, I want to benefit countries around the globe, and one of my next, you know, in places that I could influence and impact was Philippines. And this was planted, I led a mangrove planting initiative recently with the UCLM, which is University of Cebu. And we did it in Mactan Island, which is where their international and domestic airport is. And so we did our little mangrove plantings, and I think we planted around 400 mangroves, which was a great effort. And hopefully they plant and seed and grow. But from there, it can really help to harness all that carbon that aviation produces and prevent it from imparting more environmental destruction, essentially.
Wow, that's just incredible work. You have the brains and the beauty for
Oh,
sure.
no,
That's
no, for sure.
no, that's
Thank you
that's
so much.
incredible. No,
Thank you.
congratulations, just and thank you for all the work you've done. And
No.
I can't wait to see you speak more about this at Miss Eco International.
Yeah, nice.
So I want to ask you one of the harder questions, but
Ooh.
one I'm sure you're excited to answer, which is why do you think you should be the next Miss Eco?
I believe I should be the next Miss Eco International because I'm bringing the dedication, the drive, and the environmental passion for it. Because at the end of the day, it's a job to be done. It's a um, role to be had, and you'll be a public servant at the end of the day. You need to impact your communities in a positive way. And I believe that is something that I'm already doing. It's not something that I'm aiming to do with the crown. It's something that I am already impacting in the Australian community. And so with the Miss Eco International crown, I can just amplify their message of love and respect for the earth and amplify the good work that I'm already doing and bring it to the international sphere and bring it to international countries, go beyond Australia, go beyond Philippines. And that is exactly what I think a great Miss Eco International needs to do. It's to have a fruitful and effective reign.
That's a true Queen's answer there. Brilliant.
Thank you.
And yeah, you've already taken it global. So, I mean, it's just building on that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Congratulations with everything you do. I am going to move
Thank
on to
you.
the little fun, quick fire questions
Okay.
and answers
We can
now.
go. We can breathe now.
Yeah, you can take a breather. All right. So, are you an early riser or a night owl?
I'm a night owl for sure. I think I can't really think that well that early, even though with being a flight attendant, you get up really early. Yesterday, I got up 2:30 a.m. To sign on for work at 4:45. So yes, I've had to test that recently, but I think I'm more effective at night for sure.
Interesting. What's your go-to comfort food?
Pasta, vodka, rigatoni pasta, the ones that you can make really easily and cheaply at home. But I also love to test different restaurants and how great their vodka pasta is for sure.
Love that. All right. What is one of your biggest pet peeves?
Biggest pet peeves. Whenever I get this question, I immediately think of work. And my biggest pet peeve on the aircraft, especially, is speakerphone. Whenever people are playing anything out loud, my ears almost like perk up at the sound of it. It could even just be the smallest, like five, your volume's at five, but I can hear it. And
Yeah.
so that has to be one of my biggest pet peeves.
That's so good. If you were given a chance to steal something, and I know you're queen and you'd never steal anything,
Oh, never.
what would it be?
If I could steal something, oh my goodness, I can't even think like straight away. It's nothing's like flashing my mind. Um, Maybe like a nice handbag if I could. Because I'm not someone that likes to spend exorbitant amounts on fashion and
Yes.
accessories like
Well,
that.
the
But
sustainability and all that as well is
yeah,
part of
sustainability. I love to thrift shop, but they are very nice and very well made. So if I could have one without paying for it, that would be amazing.
I like that. I like. Do you have a favorite song? Is there one that you want to walk down the
Ooh,
catwalk with when you're in a pageant?
what I immediately thought of when you said favorite song is Rain Me In by what is his name now, but Rain Me with Olivia Dean. I love that song. It just makes me very happy, and it's like the skipping and like dancing on a walk kind of song. That's what makes me happy. But if you were to ask a song that I would love to walk down the catwalk to, well, my hype up song for when I'm like walking and doing passerella practice is Yummy Righteous remix, which is actually I don't think it's a very G-rated song. It's by a girl named Aisha Erotica.
Okay.
So it has
But
very
it's like it'll
funny.
get that swim walk and
Yes,
that
it
catwalk
has
down.
very funny lyrics, but no, it's very fierce, and I love how like fun and flouncy it is. And so yeah, it gets me in the right zone. So that's my hype up
Brilliant.
song.
That's what we'll be playing backstage, I'm
Yes.
sure.
It's in my
Okay.
playlist already.
What's something that makes you laugh?
What's something that makes me laugh is is dog videos or just anything with my dogs. I love it. Or something that has always made me laugh that my mom always does is gets any like stuffed toy and she makes them like curl up and like get really shy. And for some reason that has always made me laugh, even when I was 7 to 12 to 15 to now. Like it's actually very embarrassing that when she does it and she does it to my dogs, like you actually I want to laugh like very genuinely and it's like why is this still here? But I think it's just, soothing to my inner
Yeah,
child.
childhood memories. I know my dad
Yeah.
did like little swipe a hand
Yeah.
and it always still makes me
Yeah.
laugh.
Yeah.
Um, what would you wear if you, okay, this one's a bit weird. What would
Ooh.
you wear if you had to wear a Halloween costume every day for the rest of your life?
Halloween costume every day for the rest of my life. I love how I look in Wednesday Addams. I always have gone to Wednesday Addams when I have like Halloween parties. I think it's easy, but I think it's also really cool and funky.
Yeah.
And I love dark like comedies like that. Like gothic comedies are one of my favorite genres of movies. Like so obviously Adam's Family, and then you have the one Death Becomes Her. I love all those movies. They're great. I love how like cool and
Yeah, and
gothic
I
they
feel like
are.
you could get away with that too because it's just like the goth vibe, and I feel like you'd suit black. So
Yes.
that's
Yeah,
a good
I
idea.
do love
Good
black.
idea. What is something you first notice about someone?
Something I first noticed about someone is their smile and their eyes. And I love when people are very emotive because I'm very emotive. Like I'm a very active listener. So whenever someone's telling me a story, I'm reacting to every part of it. I can't really keep it in. So I love when that's how people react to my stories or when I'm talking to someone and they're really engaged or they're smiling. It makes me feel more comfortable.
Yeah, I just feel like you're very genuine. Like even with this
Oh,
conversation, it's very smiley and very genuine and lovely.
oh my God.
So
Thank you.
what's your favorite way to celebrate a small win? So I actually had the privilege of seeing you win Miss Eco
Oh yeah.
Australia, and that was a big celebration. So congratulations. But what about those little small wins, like the everyday wins?
Okay, this is something I've actually picked up just this year is celebrating small wins and actually making a spectacle of it. Or not really a spectacle, but making an occasion out of it because that's what gets you through life, right? So how I celebrate is going out for dinner with my family. And that's where the pizza and the pasta comes in. Like it's just so comforting. And whenever I have any great, amazing things that happen, even if it's just small wins. Go out for dinner with my family, with my parents, with my partner, and we just cheers to that.
Brilliant. Food's such a great way to celebrate. I always do that. We often go to sushi or like my go-to is donuts. If I'm ever like super excited about
Ooh,
something, I'm
yum.
donut. Give me a donut.
Yum, yum, yum.
Okay, if you were a movie or book character, and you could say both, movie and book, who do you think you'd be?
Okay. I would be, and I think this actually applies to both. I would be Cher in Clueless because I love Clueless. It's my number one favorite movie, and this obviously directly translates to Emma by Jane Austen because uh, Clueless was based on Jane Austen's Emma, and
Oh, I didn't know
so
that.
yeah, yeah, it is. It's obviously a modern
Mm.
or modernized retelling of it. Through the perspective high schoolers, but it is essentially the reason I started reading like Jane Austen's Emma and how I got into classical literature at such a young age because I was always shown Clueless. My mom loved Clueless. And so that's where I started becoming more familiar with classical literature. And I did end up reading I keep saying the full name, Jane Austen's Emma. I did end up reading Emma, and I loved how when I was reading it, I could see Cher in my mind, or I could see all the different characters that, and you can tell who's based off of who.
Mhm.
So that was a fun experience reading that back, but I do love Cher in a lot of different ways. I'm not as like ditzy, but I love how fun-loving she is and how fashionable she is.
Mhm.
One of my favorite scenes, if you ever watched Clueless, is her driver's license test outfit.
Same.
That is amazing. Yeah, if you know what I'm talking about, like the sheer blouse under
Mhm.
the little vest, and then oh, it's so nice. And I still haven't recreated it to this day, but it is one of my favorite outfits in the movie.
Incredible. That's so fun. I do love that movie too. I'm very much a share lover as well. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I cannot wait to see you on the international stage, and let's just bring that crown home to Australia. You are so deserving of it, and I've really loved our conversation, and I hope you enjoyed it too.
Oh, thank you so much, Kat. This has actually been my only interview in Australia. I've done one interview prior to this, and that was in the Philippines, but I haven't really gotten around to doing much interviewing. And I do love talking about, sustainability, pageantry, and Miss Eco International especially. So thank you for giving me the opportunity. I knew that when I saw your podcast and I saw the way that you speak and the way that really connect with your guests. I was like, I have to get on there, and I know that you're an amazing person, an amazing host, and it was just such an honor to be here.
Thank you so much. That's so nice coming from you. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. See ya.